It's just perfect. This week is the best possible example of the madness that is the 2017 NFL DFS season. After the storyline all week is centered on the broken Kansas City offense, we get 3 Chiefs in the Week 13 DraftKings perfect lineup, with huge fantasy days from all 3 of them. If you play daily fantasy football, you have to appreciate the irony. It's not over, girls and boys. In fact, it's only going to get more wild down the stretch. If you want to take home a big check before the season is over, you need to get comfortable being uncomfortable with your lineup picks, because it's going to take some off-the-wall theory to take down a tournament. But that's why I'm here, to do the best I can to explain why these plays worked and to try to help you feel more comfortable with taking these type of chances so you can walk away from 2017 a winner. Week 14 DFS Yahoo GPP lineup Ycash DFS lineup builder. Before we break down last week's perfect DK lineup, we must remind you that Rotook should be your first stop during your weekly daily fantasy research. In addition to features like the perfect lineup, there's a full suite of easy-to-use DFS tools, including top-tier projections from industry experts and the premier lineup building tool, the Rotook DFS Optimizer. If you want to gain a significant daily fantasy football edge, Rotook is a must. Week 14 rankings: quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, DST, kicker. NFL DFS DraftKings perfect lineup for Week 13 Alex Smith, QB, Chiefs. It's almost comical to be writing up Smith. With the Chiefs looking absolutely terrible for 5 straight weeks, Smith comes out with a career fantasy performance. I think if you played Smith, it's because you believed the Jets could score and that Kansas City's weapons could always go for a big play, which we saw from both Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill. But it's not like this was an offense that many people wanted a piece of, and it's not like we'd ever expect this ceiling from Smith. Alex Collins, RB, Ravens. Collins was a popular value play this weekend, going up against a Lions defense giving up the 4th most fantasy points to running backs. On a John Harbaugh coached team that is as unlikely to abandon the run, Collins has been steady. The volume has proven to be consistent, and with Collins seeing the majority of the goal line work, he's been and should continue to be a useful fantasy play. Kenyon Drake, RB, Dolphins. Another popular value play. This one came down to last man standing. With Jay Ajayi traded away, and Damian Williams' shoulder missing Week 13, Drake was a lock for a career-high workload, and while that narrative held true, you have to think that it also helped that Miami led this game from start to finish, which we can't expect to be the standard Dolphins game script. It also helps that Drake was able to bust a 42-yard touchdown run late in the 3rd quarter. For me, if Williams continued to miss time, this big play ability makes Drake an option for GPPs. Jermaine Kearse, WR, Jets. Welp, I missed on this one. A week after making the perfect lineup for the first time all season, Kearse is back for Week 13 a week after I said he would not be repeating his perfect lineup performance and was unlikely to make it back. Whoops. The thing is, the Jets are playing in shootouts right now. Their defense can't stop anyone, and they usually find themselves playing from behind. But because the offense has been capable of keeping games close, playing from behind makes for a very friendly fantasy environment. If I'm playing Kearse again, I'm at least stacking the Jets, and most likely both offenses, from the same game. Tyreek Hill, WR, Chiefs. This is the Hill we are talking about. He can be at the top of the leaderboard in any given week, and it shouldn't surprise you. What should surprise you is that Alex Smith was actually able to get enough air underneath the ball to hit the speedster for a 79-yard touchdown. In all seriousness, if you played Hill, it was in GPPs, and I'm sure you're happy with the results. If you're a newer daily fantasy player this season, this is the perfect example of how to approach this type of talent when a team is struggling. If you have an inclination that Hill could go off, or just feel like taking a gamble, you know that the Chiefs' inconsistencies will keep him low-owned and you can gain significant leverage on the field by rostering him in a tournament. Keenan Allen, WR, Chargers. I really hope you've been reading the perfect lineup all year. Not just because I appreciate your loyalty and love your Twitter comments, but also because I discussed a possible Allen redemption tour after his first huge game in this very article 2 weeks ago. If you missed it, my thoughts were that Allen was due for extreme positive regression after what I would argue was the most difficult matchups possible in Week 710. With elite target numbers in every game outside of that stretch but only 1 touchdown before his Week 11 outburst, I wanted to play Allen at price tags that were too cheap for his talent and role in the Chargers' offense. I hope you got on board and made some money, but if you missed this time, keep reading every week because there's always more to come. Week 14 DFS Yahoo GPP lineup. Cash DFS lineup builder Travis Kelce. Chiefs, tell me that one very bad game against Buffalo didn't keep you from having some Kelce exposure. If it did, I'm very sorry, as you had a difficult Sunday that was likely ruined very early by Kelce's touchdown game. Kelce was the one piece from the Chiefs I had legitimate interest in, playing as arguably the best tight end in football this season. This is one of those situations where I actually had more interest in Kelce because he was coming off of a bad game. Why? The Chiefs' offense is terrible narrative was everywhere last week, and if people were scared of the offense as a whole, I'm sure that seeing only 6.9 fantasy points in Week 12 wasn't reassuring enough for casual players to click Kelce's name, but the Chiefs' offense has flowed through Kelce all year, and with so many issues, it doesn't surprise me that Kelce was the first guy they looked to get involved. Rex Burkhead, flex, Patriots. Well, here we are again. For the second week in a row, Burkhead makes the perfect lineup. I mentioned that the New England backfield was going to be in play this week with the Patriots expected to control the game, but cautioned with the way the Patriots operate, you needed exposure to either none or both of the backs. Well, it turned out to be both, and really it was Burkhead who was more valuable, as Dion Lewis had his worst performance in a few weeks. Burkhead seems to be the goal line guy for New England, and we saw with Lager at Blunt that goal line work in the Patriots' offense is extremely valuable. The past 2 weeks have been Burkhead, and while it's never safe to predict a New England backfield situation, if this is his role, that puts Burkhead in roster consideration every single week. Dolphins DST, no. Stop. I don't want to hear it. The Dolphins' defense should not have been in play. As bad as the Broncos' offense is right now, and you should be playing defenses against them, you cannot play Miami. The Dolphins are a defense we want to attack, not one we want to roster. Like I said, this is about the Broncos. Keep looking for defenses against Denver, as their QBs are overwhelmed, and none of the three look capable of protecting the ball, each struggling with turnovers.